They've been shelved and unidentified for nearly 30 years. The remains of 3 murder victims in Newton County from the 80s now remain in boxes in the county coroner's office. News Channel 18's Krista Henry joins us now with the story. Krista?
Jeff, in 2 of the cases, they know who the killer was, but in all 3, they still don't know the identity of the victim.
The mystery begins in this Newton County field in October 1983. A pair of mushroom hunters find the bodies of 4 young men stabbed to death. While 2 are quickly identified by investigators, the case goes cold to put names on the other 2. Boxed away and for decades forgotten, they are discovered again, this time in 2009 by the then newly elected Newton County coroner, Scott McCord.
They were labeled victim 3, victim 4, and then there was a garbage bag. Opened up the boxes and lo and behold, they're full of bones. And the bag, I started to pick it up, throw it away, and it just made a funny sound that didn't sound right. And I opened it up and it was bones.
Bones, case numbers, and lots of questions. McCord called Indiana State Police looking for answers.
They told me it was, what it was the 2 boys. And they asked me why. I said, well, because I have the skeletal remains up here in my office. And they're like, no, all those kids were identified. I'm like, no, they're here in my office.
While 2 victims remain nameless, all 4 victims are attached to the name Larry Eyler, a Crawfordsville native who confessed to killing dozens of people in the early 80s. Eyler was nicknamed the Highway Killer because most of his victims' bodies were found between Eyler's homes in Terre Haute and Chicago. His targets, young men, often hitchhikers, who he would pick up and take his rage out on after getting into fights with his boyfriend. Eyler confessed to killing the 4 young men before dying of AIDS in an Illinois prison in 1994 at the age of 41.
These kids were estimated to be in their teens, early 20s. Back in the 80s, people were hitchhiking everywhere, so these kids could literally be from anywhere in the United States.
But there's a third mystery for McCord, the identity of the remains of a woman found dead in this field in 1988. McCord found her remains at the same time he found the 2 young men in storage. She has no known connections to Larry Eyler. The woman's body was found in this wooded area in Newton County. The body was found burned alongside a male's body that was later identified. Still today, decades later, there's no name or face to the woman's remains. The name of the woman's killer also remains a mystery. McCord says he's spent hundreds of hours trying to solve these puzzles, working with forensic scientists and searching every day for matches on missing persons' websites. While McCord says there have been small leads over the years, he's still missing the final pieces of these unsolved puzzles.
One of your ultimate goals as you hold this position as Newton County coroner is to what?
To get these kids home where they belong. They need to be home, they need to be buried. Closure needs to be brought to these families.
Closure so that the final resting place isn't an office, instead a field like this one, but where they can be remembered properly for who they were and not where they were found.
Now, if you have any information that might lead McCord to some answers, head to our website for his contact information. Krista Henry, News Channel 8.